passes this bill as well in the spirit of NADICO and by partnership, so that we have this matter resolved once and for all. Madam Speaker, I want to agree with the Senator Mungatana, who said, I think we need to relook at clause 16 of this bill. The requirement for 2/3 of members of the National Assembly and 2/3 of the Senate, I think is too high. Maybe we need to lower that threshold to maybe a simple majority. Because with the 2/3 requirement, Madam Speaker, from my experience, it is going to be extremely difficult to have this bill passed. You remember the attempts that have been made to pass the 2/3 gender bill. It has failed several times in the National Assembly because of inability to get 2/3. So I would request that we have amendments so that we make it easy for this bill to sail in these two houses. Madam Speaker, on the issue of alteration, the factors to be considered. The bill considers issues of population density, the issues of demographic trends, issues of physical and human infrastructure, historical and cultural ties, cost of administration, views of the community affected, objects of devolution, and issues of government and geographical features. But I think Senator Mungatana had a point. I think we also need to look at issues of revenue management, so that just in case we are unable to resolve the issues of the boundary, then we have something to take home, the issue of revenue management. And that's the problem, Madam Speaker, between Vihiga and Kisumu over Maseno. Because the infrastructures which are in Maseno, the university, the church, the hospital, and many others, the people from the other side feel that they have been discriminated in matters of employment, in matters of revenue, and many, many other issues. So if we can have revenue management as one of the issues to be considered in this process, I think that would be very important. Issues of economy also, Madam Speaker. I've talked about employment. I have talked about access to amenities and all that. For example, the Maseno side, we have Maseno School. We have, I think, about 2 streams for local people, for local students. The people from Vihiga County don't benefit from that because it's largely Kisumu area. I think those are issues that will easily generate disputes and make this thing look the way it's looking. The issues of compensation. How would people be compensated for, in case the boundary alteration becomes difficult? I fully support the provision in the bill that petitions that come close to the election, 12 months to the election, should not be submitted. Madam Speaker, I'm saying this because though a lot of people from the Vihiga side, we have felt that this matter needs to be handled peacefully and amicably. But there are politicians who always trigger division closer to the election by using the Maseno issue. In the last election, our colleagues who we were competing with from the other coalition, they really maximized on this issue to try and defeat Azimio. But we said people of this area have lived peacefully. They have intermarried. The Banyore community, or the Luya community, have intermarried with the Luos, and the people have bought land on either side. So we do not need to politicize this issue. And this 12 months period will ensure that this matter is not politicized, so that it is addressed amicably. But most importantly, Madam Speaker, this bill provides mechanism for dispute resolution and management by establishing ad hoc county boundaries mediation committees, where the governor, the senator, or even a registered voter can petition the Senate or Parliament to handle this matter. Because previously, people were just bringing petition, others were taking them to the Senate, others were taking them to the National Assembly, but there was no mechanism of how that would be addressed. But this provides a mechanism on how leaders or even voters can initiate the process of mediation. So, Madam Speaker, this bill addresses my concern as a senator of Vihiga County, who is very keen to address the issue of Maseno. Madam Speaker, where I think we may need more input into this bill is that this bill looks at only one scenario, the scenario of boundary alteration. What if it does not happen? Because from the presentation made by some colleagues here, it is a very, 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 not an easy issue. It is not an easy issue. So in the event it doesn't happen, how do we manage the issue? So there needs to be a second scenario of, in case of no alteration, what happens? And that is why the issue of revenue management, sharing of revenue, sharing of infrastructures, sharing of amenity comes in. I think that's one area that I will be consulting the owner of the bill to see how well that can be incorporated so that the matter is addressed conclusively. Because any attempt to try and address this matter and then it fails, it will in itself create a dispute. I remember some time back, I think in the 11th Parliament, Honorable Olago Oluoch, there was an ad hoc committee that went around Maseno collecting views, and they did quite a lot of work, and then they delivered nothing. And that triggered more trouble. So we need to look at that aspect so that we do not end up creating a much bigger problem. Madam Speaker, this bill also proposes that the decision on a boundary alteration will not be made by one institution or one person. In 2021, June 2021, the then CS for Lands, Karonei, made a statement before this Senate as the lands minister. Without adequate consultation, he made a statement and he ruled that indeed Maseno is in Kisumu County without consulting anyone. We do not want to have that scenario. We want all stakeholders to be involved in this process. We want Senate to be involved. We want the leadership to be involved. We want the respective counties to be involved. We want National Cohesion Commission to be, as stated in the bill, not a unilateral decision by one institution or one individual and making a determination about the matter. So, Madam Speaker, all in all, I think this bill is the first attempt, and I hope that the National Assembly will not again reject this bill on the on the basis of it being a money bill. Because the last one, they rejected it because they said it is a money bill. I think we need to resolve this matter, and the NADICO has given us the basis. The NADICO recommendation is that we need to resolve the issue of boundaries by having a county boundaries bill. Let us take advantage of that. The mover of this bill is ready to engage in a bipartisan manner. And I am happy that Senator Cheruyot, who was a member of NADICO, is the one who seconded. So let's speak from this point. Let us engage the National Assembly in the spirit of bipartisanship so that we have this bill passed by both houses and made into law so that the framework of dealing with this matter is addressed. And I'm sure the many petitioners who have been coming to me, we have a gentleman, and I must say he has been very passionate about this.
Honorable Senators, it's now 6:30 p.m., time to adjourn the Senate. The Senate therefore stands adjourned until tomorrow, Wednesday, 6th March 2024 at 9:30 a.m. Senator Osotsi, you still have 3 minutes of your time.